What makes a good weeknight meal? Well, simple and fast is one way to go, but mostly hands-off is another great route to take. Now, a roast chicken is always going to take about an hour to cook, but with a quick rub and a fast pan sauce, you can get great flavor with very little fuss at the beginning or the end of cooking. So that's what we're going to do today. Now, there's nothing wrong with a simple roast chicken with salt and pepper. Simple, classic, great. But chances are, in your pantry, your spice rack is full of spices that are losing their flavor as we speak. So we're gonna put them to work today. If you're worried about your spices burning on a roast chicken, don't worry about it. We've already tested pretty much every spice in the spice rack to make sure that wouldn't happen. And the key is to use the right temperature to roast the bird. So we're roasting at 400 degrees today, which is a little lower than we normally roast a chicken. But that's gonna ensure that none of the spices burn, especially not chili powder, not a concern here. So this blend that we're using today starts with a tablespoon of chili powder, a tablespoon of oregano, 2 teaspoons of kosher salt, a teaspoon of granulated garlic, and a teaspoon of pepper. So just mix this together. It smells fantastic already. This is gonna give the chicken a flavor, it's almost like barbecue flavored or barbecue sauce without the sauce. So you have all those great flavors of a barbecue rub with just a few ingredients. This smells great. So this is what we're using today, but we made a couple variations on the recipe. One of them that I really love has a tablespoon of dried dill added in place of the chili powder and the oregano. Still with the garlic powder, the salt, and the pepper, and it smells great. If you like dill, and some people don't, you should definitely try this one. The other is a mix of dried fennel, dried coriander, ground coriander rather, and some lemon zest. So a tablespoon each with the garlic powder, the salt and pepper, and it just has a really fresh, citrusy quality that would also make for a really great chicken. So 3 options that you have. But again, today we're going kind of barbecue style. So I have a 3.5 to 4 pound chicken, and I'm just gonna pat it dry on both sides. And then we're gonna put this right in the skillet, breast side down, and we're gonna prep the bird in the skillet. This is where all the mess is gonna be contained. I have a 12-inch stainless steel conventional skillet. You wanna make sure that it's oven safe because this is gonna go into the oven, and we need to make sure that the whole skillet, including the handle, is oven safe up to 400 degrees. So, with the back facing me, I'm adding a tablespoon of extra virgin olive oil. Just pour that over the back and make sure that you get everything covered. The oil is going to, first it's going to help the chicken not stick to the skillet, which is key. It's also going to help the skin get brown and crisp, and it's going to give the spices something to adhere to. It's kind of the glue to keep them on the chicken. So I'm going to take my spice blend and sprinkle up half of it on the chicken, and then kind of work it around, get it in all the nooks and crannies. It really limits the mess to one place, which is kind of nice, for cleanup at least. Then we'll flip the bird over and add a 2nd tablespoon of extra virgin olive oil to the breast. Work that in. Now the oil is also going to help the spices bloom when they hit the heat of the oven, which is just going to increase their flavor and make the whole thing taste fantastic. And just sprinkle the other half of the spices. Make sure the wings are tucked behind the chicken's back. And now, beyond me washing my hands, we're ready to go. So I'm going to do that, and then I will roast this in my 400-degree oven on the middle rack for about an hour. We're going for 160 degrees in the breast and 175 in the legs and the thighs. All right, so it's been about an hour. You can see we've got some great color on the chicken. It smells fantastic. So I just want to temp it and make sure. I'm going to go into the breast, and we're looking for 160 degrees, and we're good. And now into the thigh, and we're looking for at least 175. So we're great. Remember, this chicken just came out of the oven, so the handle is going to be super hot. Make sure you keep a towel over the handle to remind you of that. I'm going to transfer the chicken from the skillet to my carving board. I like to do it with tongs And you can just let some of the fat drip off the chicken before you move it. So now we need to let the chicken rest for about 20 minutes because we want all of those juices that have kind of rushed to the outside of the chicken to get reincorporated into the meat so we don't have juices all over the cutting board. We're also going to give the pan juices a little time to settle because we're going to skim some of the fat off of that to make our pan sauce. So we'll give this time to settle. We'll give the chicken some time to rest, about 20 minutes. It's been about 15 minutes. Now, the chicken's not quite ready to cut into, but let's talk about the pan sauce. I've let it sit here and given it some time to settle so that the fat would separate from the pan drippings, because there's a lot of wonderful flavor in there. We're actually going to take a shortcut, so this is a really fast pan sauce, and I'm going to make a slurry. So I have a teaspoon of cornstarch and half a cup of water. I'm just going to mix this until the cornstarch has dissolved. All right, now I want to go in and skim off any of the fat that's in the skillet, but leave all the good pan drippings and the brown bits and the juices in the skillet. So you can kind of see, just like when your gravy, you let your gravy sit and it starts to separate and the fat comes to the surface, that's what's happened here. I have a little slick on top of the skillet, kind of skim it off. You're not going to be able to get a whole lot, but you just want to take any of the really excess fat. Now, I'll add my slurry to the pan juices, and I'm going to turn my burner up to medium-high heat, and I'll use my whisk to scrape up any of those brown bits on the bottom of the skillet. That's all so much flavor that we want to incorporate in the sauce. So this is effectively called deglazing the pan. You know that already. Now I'm waiting for this to come up to a boil, and then we only want to cook the cornstarch for about 2 minutes until it thickens. And contrary to maybe popular belief, you can cook cornstarch too long. It's hard to do that with flour. Flour you have to cook longer to get it to thicken. Cornstarch thickens fairly quickly. So we're just going to let this go for 2 minutes or until it's thickened, and we'll have a really nice, super easy pan sauce. All right, this looks nice and thickened. It's even been a little less than 2 minutes. So I'm going to turn off my heat, and I'll show you. Sometimes it's hard to tell the thickness with the whisk because the tines are so thin. If you're not sure about the thickness, use your spoon. See how it kind of slowly drapes off the spoon? This is perfect. And we don't have to season this because we already have the salt, the pepper, and the chili powder, and the garlic from the spice rub. So this is a well-seasoned sauce. I'm just going to add 2 teaspoons of lemon juice. And that'll brighten everything and balance out those really earthy flavors. Okay, the sauce is ready, so I'm just going to clean up and then we'll carve the chicken. All right, now we can carve the chicken. It's been 20 minutes. We've given those juices plenty of time to redistribute throughout. So now we can go ahead and carve. There's different schools of thought about how to break down a chicken. Lots of people like to start with getting rid of the wings. I often find that it's easiest to take off the leg quarters first. So I'm just going to cut through the skin between the drumstick and the breast. Now I'm going to put my thumb on top of the drumstick and my fingers underneath the thigh and push my fingers up until I dislocate the hip joint. And then it's really easy to just separate the leg quarter from the body. We'll do the same with the other side. So now I have my leg quarter. So this is the thigh and the drumstick. I'm going to cut in between the two of those. To find where that joint is here, you can kind of wiggle the hip and feel for the joint, which is right there, and just cut right through. So I have my leg and my thigh, don't lose the skin. Now, another way to locate that joint is to flip the chicken over, and there's a line of fat that runs in between the drumstick and the thigh. So you can sometimes see it better on the other side of the chicken. And again, if you feel like you're hitting bone, you just want to readjust your knife to make sure that you're not. So here we go, and we have our drumstick and another thigh. you can take off the wings. So there's the joint is right behind the wing, just cut right through there. So the breastbone runs between the breast halves. I'll run my knife down one side of the breastbone, kind of open this up so I can get my hands in there. And basically I'm just going to skim the meat off of the bone. And there we have one breast. I'll just cut off the other wing. And now to remove the second breast, I'm just going to put my knife to the right side of the breastbone. Again, here you want to be careful you don't lose all of your skin. Reposition the skin later. All right, now I'm just going to slice the breast crosswise, about 1/2 inch thick. Again, try to be really tender and gentle about how you handle that chicken skin, because that's everyone's favorite part, and that's where so much flavor is. So there's the second breast. So then we have our thigh, our thighs, our drumsticks, and our wings. And there's the whole chicken carved for you. All right, I am so excited about this. I know that lots of professional cooks love chicken thighs, but if you can get a chicken breast that's cooked the right way, I like chicken breasts. And this one is cooked the right way. I'm gonna put a little bit of this pan sauce over the top. That's what I'm talking about. So this chicken recipe is about 1.5 hours from start to finish, but really, most of that is hands-off time. You can literally walk away, assemble the rest of your meal, pay your bills, do your homework, whatever you want to do, that's your time. We've put together a really fantastic flavor profile here by using the spices that you already have in your spice rack. By using those spices, we've been able to come up with something that's pretty extraordinary on an ordinary weeknight.
Thanks for watching America's Test Kitchen. What'd you think?
Well, leave a comment and let us know which recipes you're excited to make, or you can just say hello.
You can find links to today's recipes and reviews in the video description.
And don't forget to subscribe to our channel.
See you later.
I'll see you later.